How's it going, everybody on YouTube? I'm Sean.
I'm Ryan.
And we're the Natural Gamers, and today what we're going to be talking about is some of our favorite game characters, our top fives for each of us. Originally we were going to do it together, like distill our top five into one top five, but then we realized there's about, I don't know, like a 6-year age difference between me and Ryan. Maybe actually even more than that, huh?
9.
Yeah, it's like a 9-year age difference, and like with that comes with like some sort of generational gap type thing. So we decided to do our own, and we're gonna split it into 2 episodes. The first episode is going to be Ryan's episode, and he's gonna be talking about his top 5 characters. And so, without further ado, what's your top 5?
Well, my top 5, number 5 would be Kratos from God of War series. Undeniably the most vengeful badass of our time. Goes from, he's a character is haunted by his past choices and all that, you know, shit.
But why is he your favorite? Like what do you like about him? What do you find like memorable about him? I mean,
well, just how awesome he is and how like cold he is, how cold-hearted he is, and just how he doesn't give a shit about anything. And he just fucking kills everything, and he kills like all the Greek gods. Zeus, fucking, you get to smash Zeus's fucking face in.
Yeah, I mean that was always kind of the cool thing about the God of War series in general, and Kratos specifically, is that he's kind of like an amalgamation of like all these different kind of mythological, Greek mythological characters, and that it's all kind of distilled, all like any like revenge type storyline that happens in any Greek mythology are all kind of distilled into him, you know. So he kind of is like represents like all of that at once, which is pretty cool. Like ends up being for a very entertaining ride.
Yeah. And my number 4 would be Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. Yeah, he's so much like Indiana Jones, and it's just like a smart ass, and just someone who, you know, I really think is cool. And he's just
well, he's enough like Indiana Jones that he's like immediately familiar. Yeah. But he's enough of his own like person, his own character to like, you know, kind of stand on his own shoulders, you know.
Yeah, and yeah. So my number 3 would be Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4. Is that the only ones he's appeared in, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's
I just think he's, you know, maybe the best ninja of our time. If you've played Metal Gear Solid 4, you'll know what I'm talking about, because what he does in that game is just fucking crazy, and it's just he's the best fucking sidekick I've ever seen. Best supporting character.
Well, that was the kind of the thing. Like he was always like a contentious character, especially when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, which I remember very clearly because, you know, it's the first like 45 minutes of the game, you're Solid Snake, and you think it's just like this normal sequel to Metal Gear Solid, and then after that you get the first level, or the first area, the tanker like mission. Like then the game starts up, and you hear this voice, and you hear a voice, and you're kind of like, that's not Snake, but you don't know because he's got a mask on, and it kind of has the same opening as Metal Gear Solid, which makes sense once the storyline like picks up and stuff like that. But yeah, people were really pissed. Like not too many people liked him in Metal Gear Solid 2, but I think a lot of that bias came from the fact that you just weren't Solid Snake. Like that's what it was. Like it could have been anybody, and the people would have been like kind of pissed, I guess.
I'm definitely glad he was introduced, because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's just so like crazy what he does, stopping fucking this huge ass boat. If it wasn't for Raiden, Solid Snake wouldn't be alive. Okay, that's just how it is. You might disagree, but
thanks to the writers.
Yeah. All right, number 2, Gordon Freeman. He goes from a scientist, just a regular scientist, a super duper scientist, but to this crazy fucking killing machine. He just fucking kills everything. Everything that is a bad thing. He doesn't kill everybody, but he kills everything so that he can save the world, basically, and he saves the fucking world.
Well, he's kind of like the man that steps up. Like you have all this chaos going on and all this corporate corruption and this like kind of like shadow conspiracy happening, and Gordon Freeman, because of, you know, like his surroundings, I guess, like just because of the circumstances he's in, like the situation, like he almost finds he has no choice. Which is like, it's kind of impressive that like they make kind of such a rich character out of somebody that doesn't actually say anything. Like anything you learn about Gordon Freeman is from people talking to you about your
Gordon Freeman,
the free man,
G-Man, he's a dick. I don't know. Is G-Man? He's bad.
Yeah, he's like he's the overall.
He's the government.
Well, that's kind of what he represents that, but he's not that though. He's an alien. Well, you find out.
What?
Spoiler.
What? game is fucking years old.
No, yeah, that's the statute of limitations on being able to spoil Half-Life 2 or Half-Life, that series in general. And way over.
Nothing can kill Gordon Freeman. She's just relentless. It doesn't stop.
Unless of course you die.
Well, in the game. But if it was a movie, it wouldn't die.
No, he just turns himself it's like a hero. Well, he turns himself into a hero and stuff and you know, and goes on this kind of hero's journey. But a lot of it has to do with he doesn't really feel like he really has a choice. Like, that's just the way the world is, and that's what he has to do, which, you know, is cool. It's almost kind of more realistic, because people aren't just like born one day and say, you know what, I'm gonna be a hero. That's what I'm gonna do with my life. You know, it's more like, you know, you're a hero because of circumstance, not because of, you know, you have some strong desire to be the hero, which was kind of cool that they kind of took that route with Gordon Freeman.
Number one, I'm sure a lot of people will agree that Solid Snake would be the number one, and so do I.
Yeah.
Because he's overall, he's just so cool and just badass. Nothing can stop Solid Snake, just like the character said before. He's fucking relentless, so always smoking a cigarette, always getting his ass kicked, but always winning. So it's just awesome to see a character to fucking just whoop everybody's ass at the end when it counts. So I mean, it's nice to see him get his ass kicked. Later in the game, he whoops the shit out of the guy that kicked his ass. So it's just, I don't know. He's just an awesome character.
Well, that's the cool thing. You know, Solid Snake is he is bound by some sort of weird sense of honor and responsibility, because, you know, the underlying theme of all those games is kind of like what you pass on, and, you know, and what's passed on to you through like your family and stuff like that. And because of his father is Big Boss, and he was the creator of Outer Heaven and what the fuck is the name of the organization? Foxhound, the original Foxhound and everything like that. He feels responsible. He feels like he has some sort of like responsibility to see this thing through to the end, and that's kind of like why Metal Gear Solid 4, while there's not a lot of gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 4. Like, you're mostly watching cutscenes and stuff. That's a fan's game. Like, they made that for fans of the story, like of just that journey. Like, and they wanted to give you this big wham bam, like, kind of ending, which it's full of exposition, and even maybe I would even agree that maybe a little too long sometimes. Yeah. Like a 40-minute like mission briefing that like is sometimes, even now those do drag on. But as a fan of that series and that character, I love, like, you know, hearing and listening to all that stuff. Kind of
fills you in if you didn't play the other games. Kind of fills you in what happened before. And
well, yeah, it's like a reminder,
so you
basically.
Have a better understanding.
Recap of everything, and they kind of, like, you know. But that's the cool thing about Solid Snake, is that he never gives up, because it's because he feels like guilty and responsible, and it's explored very thoroughly, like we said, because of the long cutscenes and everything, and very well in those games. And he's not a hollow person. He has personality. I mean, he does have feeling for the friends who saved him. No, he is sad. He's kind of depressed a lot. I mean, he's just kind of like, I'm dying, and what the fuck am I gonna do about it, right? So I'm gonna save the world. So, well, yeah, he feels like he's at some sort of point of no return, and he's like, I'm gonna do this last thing, you know, this last kind of like effort for humanity, you know, to make the world just a better place in general. And you know, you're all screaming in the oven scene when he's screaming. He's crawling. Yeah, and that was fucking intense. Pretty awesome. And then as soon as you get out of that, you get fucking jumped on by these little robot things with hands. Oh, yeah, that's so awesome. And he's just like, I'm thinking about it right now. And it's just crazy. He's all burnt. His face is fucked up. He's got fucking, I don't know if it was ligaments or his... No, it's his suit's like coming apart. But it's still awesome. And then above that, when he goes through that, he fucking kills Liquid Snake. Yeah. And he just fucking ends it there. Oh. For a second, I thought they were gonna come to an agreement, but no. It was awesome. It's like a very melancholy, like, kind of ending, but it's a perfect ending for that series. And you know, that's why Solid Snake is. So why did you pick the characters that you picked? Well, I just think, like, what was your thought process in picking them? Like, I kind of went off the badass aspect of how they, you know, I guess I could, if I could have a different top 5, but I just went off badassery, I guess you could say. Yeah. And what they've done, what they've accomplished in games, and what they will show you, and what you've seen cutscenes. I mean, so that's what made them memorable to you, is just kind of like their how overall, awesome, yeah, just how cool they were, what they go through and how they handle it. It's just kind of cool. Yeah. All right, right on. Well, that's gonna do it for us for part 1 of our top 5 series. That was Ryan's picks. Next time will be my picks. So we'll talk to you again when we have something new to talk about, which will be part 2, like I already said. And